Does human desire prove that God exists? In Mere Christianity, C.S. Lewis tells us that creatures are not born with desires unless satisfaction for those desires exists. If a person is hungry, they have food. If a person is thirsty, they have water. Wherever there's a human desire for something, there's a corresponding object that satisfies that desire. That being said, most people, if they're honest with themselves, know that there's a desire in their heart that cannot be filled by human or natural means. There's a longing for something that is more than just a physical desire. We all have this longing in our heart, and sometimes we try to fill it with money, sex, drugs, or other material goods, but yet we still feel empty. These deep desires in our hearts have nothing in the natural or material world that can satisfy them. I would argue that these deep desires proves that God exists. The logical argument goes like this. Our natural desires all have corresponding objects that satisfy them. But there exists inside each of our hearts a desire that cannot be fulfilled by a material object. From these 2 points, we can see that there exists something beyond the material world that must satisfy these desires that we have in our hearts. The transcendent object of these desires must be God. This argument establishes that God exists and that our deepest desires will only be satisfied in union with God. The argument of desire is a good argument to prove that God exists. We can look at the longing in our hearts for justice, love, beauty, goodness, truth, and many, many more, and ask ourselves, what best satisfy these longings? And ultimately we'll find that their satisfaction is found in God alone.